Now, as a songwriter, I didn't know this. I was doing some research again. And one of the songs I saw coming up was Sarah Evans' song came up. Was it Fine Place to Start?
Real Fine Place to Start. Yeah,
I
that
did
was
not know that. I did not know that was you, and I've heard that song for years and years and years. I'm like,
yeah.
you get that a lot often, like where people will go, oh, "I didn't know that was your song." As a
Oh,
song,
all the time. Yeah, quite a bit. And then I get the slightly more like somebody will say, "Man, you sing that song better than they do. You should have kept that song for yourself." And I'm like, "Man, it's all right. Songs, you can't." I mean, I was told when I first moved to Nashville, you can't hang your hat on one song. It's like kind of like, back to muscle and fitness or being an athlete. You can't hang your hat on one workout. You can't hang your hat on one ball game, whether it was good or bad. It's like there's always, you hear the pros always go, "Man, it's on to the next game, like win or lose." It's like you got to prepare for the next one. And the same's true with songs. Like you can't go, "Oh, this is my biggest song I'm ever gonna write," and I gotta like, you know, I gotta like hide it away and wait for the right opportunity. Sarah Evans recorded Real Fine Place to Start. Huge compliment that she wanted to make that song a part of her music career. I wrote the song. It was a 3-week #1 for her. It was a huge part of her career, and I'm proud to say that I was the writer of that song and played some role in it. And Garth Brooks and George Jones recorded one of my songs, and the late great George Jones isn't even here with us anymore. So that's like an honor that, gosh, that's just not something that anyone can have anymore. Like he's not recording any more songs. So and he's a legend. I was practically a kid when I wrote that song, and this legend winds up singing it. So it's nuts that would even be possible. But I'm forever grateful. It's like the compliment. It's the ultimate compliment to you is when someone wants to take your material, make it a part of their career. It's kind of like, it's not unlike again, back to a pro athlete or a trainer that's training other clients where they try to model. Someone tries to model their game after you and your game. It's like that's the ultimate compliment.
Pass on one of your quotes saying, "I guess everyone's fitness journey is different." I think
Yeah.
so. So how did yours start? Where was the first part of your
My journey for working out,
thing?
that started just running and just kind of like wanting to be, I guess, lean. And that probably started in high school. And I'm not sure what drove that. Probably just probably I was like concerned about like not wanting to be a chunky kid, just wanting to be attractive in general. So, when you're a teenager, everybody's kind of weird as a teenager. They're just feeling it out and trying to improve themselves or look better to everybody than they actually maybe they are. I guess we're always doing that to some extent, right? But I probably didn't realize the benefits of lifting weights until and how it improves body composition until after college. And so sometime in my mid-20s or something, where I sort of first started actually lifting weights with any kind of regularity. And just there was a couple buddies that kind of got me going on it. And I played. I never did play football in high school. So one of my first loves, if it's not music, it's football. And which I absolutely still love football, NFL football mainly. And so since I didn't play in high school, I've been playing flag football like for 25 years or something. Like me and some buddies. It's like either pickup games every Sunday religiously, no matter what the weather, or in adult flag leagues. And to the extent that I've even torn my ACL, rehabbed it, got back out on the field. Like, it's been a long journey. I'm playing a show here coming up when this new album comes out, and all my flag football buddies are coming out. And, so yeah, that kind of got me, my love for the game also kind of got me sort of thinking about training and like a football player might or would and does and like they do. And, just trying to read about what they do in their off-season workouts and their preseason workouts and how they eat, what they do, to get ready for the season, all that kind of stuff. Part of it's just kind of to enjoy the game and put myself through some of those things and to prep my own flag football career. So, yeah, it's a little of all of that.
Well, how did torn ACL make you feel like an athlete afterward?
Oh my gosh, yeah, man. But and honestly, I mean, I've never squatted more than I have since I tore my ACL. And of course I wasn't doing a whole lot before I tore my ACL, but like um it's it's uh it's an inspiring environment to be in, that rehab environment, and see people like working every day at getting better, whatever it is, like rotator cuff, torn ACL, broken this or that ankle, whatever it is, and they're all in there just grinding, and I think that environment, that grinding environment, is just so cool to be around, and those trainers are inspirational. Um, and it's just it really kind of just caught fire with me. It was a great thing to be around. I immersed myself in my rehab, really, really enjoyed it. It was hard, sometimes really painful, but like I got a glimpse of like what it takes, to try to get back to where you were as an athlete. Not that I'm a pro athlete, far from it, but like I just really admire pro athletes, and there's a lot of similarities, I feel like, between professional recording artists and pro athletes.
But who do you look like? Who are some of the guys you look to as far as online, let's say influencers, maybe not the right word, but just fitness professionals? Who?
Oh gosh, I hop around. One who I think is great is this woman. I think she's Canadian, Heather Robertson. I mean, every day she's posting something. One day it'll be chest and back. One day it'll be legs, and something else, shoulders, and then she'll have a 30-day thing where it's just like cut, and everything. Every hit video is different. Some are high impact, some are not, or you have the low impact option. She's just really, really versatile. There's another female on YouTube, I think her name's Burby Girl or something, and I discovered both of them just sort of the pandemic, when everybody lost their ability to go to the gym. So that was kind of a new world for me.
How'd you manage through?
Well, actually, I was really enjoying working out at a gym here in Nashville, and then of course it shut down. It actually became a sort of a homeless shelter during the pandemic. I turned my garage into, like a lot of people, turned my garage into a gym, basically. So no cars are in there anymore. It's got a rack, it's got Olympic everything. It's got a TRX. It's got a television right there, mounted flat screen on the wall, so I can work in kind of whatever that I need to. I can pull up YouTube on there and just kind of do some of these workouts that we've been discussing. It's just, and I have a full set of dumbbells going up to like 60. So there's just a lot of different options there, and it doesn't have everything, but I can get a lot of things done without leaving home, if I, just maintenance at the very least. And it's still nice to have a partner. I think that's really valuable. So you lose some of the intensity when you don't have a workout partner. It's really hard to keep that. I mean, those last couple of reps. Kino Body is another guy that I check out from quite often on YouTube and elsewhere. He's everywhere. He's literally everywhere. I think you probably know the guy I'm talking about. And and not only him, but lots of trainers will tell you that it's those last couple reps, man, that and that's why a spotter is so helpful. And it's like finish those last couple. If you leave it, and I mean, maybe don't empty the tank on your first set, but like if you leave stuff in the tank overall, you're just kind of that you're not going to get the real benefits, or you're going to miss out on some of those. So it's nice to have a partner, and you do lose that aspect at home. But any workout, the old adage too is that any workout's better than no workout.
I don't dive into your, I guess I don't say obsession, but your Arnold newsletter.
Oh yeah.
Well, we'll say obsession, because what got you into? What do you learn most from that? What do you get out of that on a daily basis?
Particularly the Arnold newsletter.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, he kind of refers to it as the positive corner of the internet. So everything he does, everything he brings you is tidbits of information. It's all really it's uplifting stuff. It's like it's it's knowledge based, but it's all like, hey, here's how you might, here's his take on how you could sleep better, and he'll provide some studies that, prove his point or whatever. Or it might be, you know, his workout his workout takes, like his, not necessarily his regimen, but just like he'll provide studies that show, hey, guys that want to increase their muscle mass, like they might start, as opposed to starting with like, that pyramid of a workout plan. They might go start with your heaviest first, like for instance, and your first set would be your heaviest set. Do a very light warm-up set, and then go to your heaviest, your absolute max, where you can only get 2 to 4 reps in, and then start scaling it down from there. So just little things like that, and he'll show you why, or tell you why, in his opinion, that's relevant. And man, everything. It's just he kind of walks. It's not all hardcore workout stuff. Some of it's just life lessons that he's learned along the way. All presented in a really positive fashion. So it's just something nice to wake up to and kind of pick and choose what you want to take home and store away. I mean, the guy's been around for, what's he, 70 years old?
Yeah.
And, he's been a workout warrior his entire life. He's got a lot to reflect upon. And I think it's kind of a nice message early in the morning to take with you throughout your day.
Well, what is your routine like? What is your regimen? Do you have something that's rock solid, or is it vary from?
My workout times of the day vary, but I don't like to work out first thing in the morning. Like, you get after it. I think that would be great. I always feel like I have all these responsibilities, people to answer, or things to knock out on the business side first, and I'm still waking up, have a cup of coffee, maybe 2, maybe even 3, probably too many. But and then, sort of when I get past that initial rush of calls, emails, then I'll kind of like, I'd like a midday workout when my body's already a little bit more warmed up than it was when I first woke up, because we've taken the dogs for a walk, and generally probably already logged a good 20-minute walk out there, and sometimes a couple. If the dogs weren't successful in going number 2, then like we'll take them out again and do it again. So I'll get a couple good walks in, and then I'll be really ready to go, and generally past the initial onslaught of the day's urgent activities. So like a midday workout is great for me. That's what works for me. It's like whatever. That's the other thing Arnold will tell you in his newsletters, stuff like that. Like whatever works for you, like that will work in a way that will allow you to be consistent for you, is the answer. So for me, it's like, midday workout, like 11 to maybe 1, 2. I'll generally have a super light meal of generally just like probably Greek yogurt, and like we talked about, Greek yogurt and some granola and some blueberries of some sort. Right before I work out, or 30 minutes before I work out, or I'll do that right after I work out. And so, yeah, then afternoon is generally, it's either a creative period if I have a writing session, or, knocking out other real life stuff. Just, whether it's taking out the trash or going grocery shopping, running errands, stuff like that. And then it's dinner time.
Now, when it comes to being on the road,
Yeah.
how do you maintain all that? what's a non-negotiable? How do you get the workout in? How do you not fall for the temptation of hitting a Taco
on
Bell?
the road? So on the road, the key to everything is flexibility. There are very few non-negotiables. Everything's negotiable pretty much. But at the very least, that, if you haven't had time, if your hotel has a crummy gym, you can always resort to a YouTube workout that's a body weight workout that'll still kick your ass. Always. It's always there. They're all there. I mean, you can do amazing things in a hotel room. That sounds funny, but like you can get a great workout in a hotel room without anything but, a couple towels and you and your body weight. So there's really no excuse. And that's that's enough to get me by 3 or 4 days a week if I'm out there for a week straight. So that's not a problem. It's never a problem. And you know, the main non-negotiable on the road is don't splurge on too many late night meals, I would say. And then the other, of course, is back to something else we talked about, sleep. You know, you've got to get at least 6 hours. I do anyway. Everybody's different. For me, I got to get 6 hours of pretty quality sleep, or it's going to be a struggle the next day for sure. And other than that, have a good time. You know, like don't forget that this is supposed to be fun. You know, that's true with working out too. You know, it's true. It's true on tour, and it's true in our own personal journeys of you know, of health and fitness.
How's that for a musician? What's like one exercise that every musician should have pretty much in their regimen? Do you?
I would go incline and pull-ups if I can pick two. Incline and pull-ups. That's what I'd do. I mean, the back is an underused asset. I'm still figuring that out, but like it's an untapped, as Jim Harbaugh says, the great football coach, the back is an untapped gold mine of lean muscle mass. And so it'd be nice to get some back work in. Pull-ups start to do that with the lats, you know, but yeah, I would say probably have to go incline, which is more difficult typically than flat bench, and tends to give you that look that you're after in terms of the V. So, I mean, incline is, I mean, it's the more difficult exercise, and I feel like it actually is targeting a little bit more towards what guys are really after when they're trying to work in chest.
Well, have you worked with a trainer?
I have, yeah. Peyton Young, he's here in Nashville. He's worked with all kinds of athletes. Really interesting cat. I'd love to give him a shout out right here. Yeah, we worked out for several years together, remained very good friends. Always, like, he's very cutting edge. He's always educating himself on the newest and the latest and the greatest. And he looks like he would just be a musclehead, but he's truly not. He's like always reading and always educating himself, which is really, really refreshing. But a great trainer. Trains like athletes from all walks of life at all levels.
What are some
and then guys like me.
So what are some of the benefits though you've seen just having a trainer like not guide you through, but just have it all set up, know what you're going to do every day?
I would say the benefits would be like continuing to educate yourself, you know, like that I think is for me great, because it's not just having it all set up when you walk in. It's like it's actually learning like a better way to do things and new ways to do things, or things you did not even know at all. And that's what Peyton does as you're training. Like he'll tell you the whys behind it all. Like, and I do miss that, not working out with him, but he is, cause he'll always, you know, he's really all up here. Like when you're grinding in there in the gym, like he's still telling you like why this is important and what it is behind what you're doing that's going to make you better. And I love that about him. So that's what kind of one of the things that I think is a main benefit of a trainer. It's not just laying it out for you and go, okay, today you're going to do this, 10 of these, 10 of those, and 10 of that. And we're going to do 3 times each. And then we're going to move over to this station and do this and that and this. Like, that's great. But like, how much of that are you retaining? Like to really, really teach you on a deeper level what it takes so that when you are on your own, you can go back to that. And sure, you can write it all down and piecemeal it together. And that's a good thing to do. For me, particularly too, because I forget stuff. So, I mean, I do try to really kind of take note, but to really make it kind of click in here so that when you do go into a gym, you kind of know what you're after. You know, your Mondays are going to be back and bi, and your Tuesdays are going to be chest, whatever, like however you want to break it down. Like you kind of know what you can do to go after, to target, each of those days, and you can do it in different ways. You get the different benefits between doing, say, machines targeting the same area on machines as you would on Olympic bar or with dumbbells. You know, there's like all different ways to skin the cat, or maybe it's just body weight, like some of the time, you know, but you're just like repping it out. So there's just all kinds of different, there's so much to learn. It's pretty fascinating.
Or
I think
explosiveness,
like box jumps, like work those into some, you know. And when would you work those in? Would you work those into it when you're working a really heavy set? No, probably not, because you need that rest and recovery, right? In between sets, you actually need to rest for 2 or 3 minutes. I mean, if you're really going heavy. But you would do, like, box jumps are great, particularly as you get older. Like, you lose some of that explosiveness, right? So you want to try to at least maintain it. And doing one of those types of workouts is a great way to, you know, to incorporate some of those types of exercises. It's a great way to kind of stay young. It's really that, you know. Spinal flexibility, like mobility, is like key too. Grip strength, another huge factor to fight aging.
Well, how did he have you train? Did he have you train like a flag football player or like a touring musician?
Yeah, trained a little bit of both. I mean, a couple of times he even came up and kind of got me warmed up pre-game. Like, it was fun, just because he was at the gym anyway on a Sunday, like a freak. But yeah, just did some resistance and stretching, kind of mobility exercise. Kind of just get pre-game warm up, basically. But yeah, basically he wanted me to get stronger. I wanted to get stronger, wanted to work on my body mass composition, bring my overall fat down, but also part of that is just bringing your strength up, like increasing your muscle mass. That also gives you a better body comp. So it's not just about bringing your fat down. You don't want to be skinny fat, right?
Same size as you were back in the 90s when you first started?
Probably. I mean, I definitely have more muscle now, and probably a little more fat too as a result, but because I eat more protein, and I probably eat better now, for certain, so yeah, I think I've probably got a lower body fat composition now than I did then, but I was really thin then for a few years there. in a sense, but I also had zero muscle. So that's not a good thing, particularly as you age, I think.
When it comes to diet, and here's the question I was going to ask you earlier with no context right now, but
yeah,
let's ask this. Does a country musician always have to have a Traeger grill in his backyard?
Did you know that I did have one?
That was the question.
Wow.
I did some research. So
how did you know that? That's crazy.
You actually did. I've watched the No Podcast, and it just came up.
Oh my God.
I've asked that about 5 different people, and I thought it was an automatic yes. And no one else is like, we've had green eggs, we've had others, but not that.
Traeger is the bomb. Sorry, I don't know if I can cuss on here. I don't think I can. Traeger is the bomb. I mean, it is a great grill. I know people all love their grills, and they should. And there's other great grills out there. But for me, I mean, I'm not a great cook. Certainly not a great grill master. And I can't screw it up. I mean, if I can't screw up a steak on a Traeger, nobody can screw up a steak. I mean, it's just literally, it's grilled to perfection every time. And you can also, like, it's also a smoker, so it's super versatile. I have not smoked ribs on there yet, but I really want to do that. But I want to do it with somebody that really knows what they're doing, so I don't screw them up.
What is your nutrition like?
What's that?
What is your nutrition like?
My nutrition, I mean, it's I try to limit my red meat to 1 or 2 times a week. Generally steak. Rarely is it a burger. Never is it fast food. Flat out never. But I eat a lot of chicken, a lot of Greek yogurt. Usually Greek yogurt with a scoop of protein is kind of, and maybe some blueberries. That's kind of my, and maybe I'll throw down a protein bar of some sort. That's my daytime thing, and then I have a bigger meal at night. And that's kind of what that's kind of what gets me by. I have this weird, like, once I have something like that, I can kind of go forever in the afternoon. I'm fine. Like, I don't even need anything else. And then I just want to get a, get a good 800,000 calories in at dinner and be done.
I just want to know, what is your specialty?
Man, it's super simple. So with the Traeger, it can do anything, but what I think my specialty is, and it's so simple, is steaks, filet. It's nothing special. I mean, literally, my magic is get it really hot, get the grill really hot, hot as it'll get. 21 minutes, and you're done. Get it off, no matter what. And then they're just perfect. I mean, they're like medium, rare, pink in the middle. Which is how I like it. If you like it a little more well done, you might go 22 or 23 minutes, but you start to run the risk of it drying out. But like, it's really simple. It's nothing special. I'm not a great cook. I'm not a great grill master, but I can cook a filet. I know exactly what to do on my grill. As long as it's on my grill, I'm good to go. And a Traeger makes it foolproof.
I mean, you consider yourself more an old school? Do you do any new trends or incorporating new trends into your program?
Me, no, I can't say I do. Only because I've been working alone for the past several years. So anything I do is probably not considered new. I mean, but a lot more resistance band stuff, that I really find helpful. This is an active stretch. Certainly pre-warm up or even post, like whether it's, using resistance bands with your glutes, your hamstrings up against the wall. There's all kinds of just so many different varieties. I'm not going to say any of that's new or cutting edge, because it's not. It's stuff that I was kind of just getting tapped into, 4 or 5 years ago. And I've just kind of kept with some of that. And, I think it improves your mobility. I mean, probably the newest thing I've been exposed to lately has just been those Theraguns, and that's not even new anymore. Like any pro locker room is going to have like a whole multiple racks of Theraguns just for, prehab, as they call it, and rehab. But I can't say I've stumbled on anything super cutting edge. Mm-hmm. And I'm like I said, I'm up for anything you have that you found recently. I want to hear about it.
Yeah,
not to turn the interview around or anything. But.
No, I'm just trying to think on top of my head what I would think that's a necessity. If I were to offer my advice, I would think anything. If you are fatigued, if you're on the road, if you're long concerts, tired, fatigued, run too much, squat too much, I would say the compression boots are a must.
Oh, interesting.
Those are the ones that I'll use after a hard session for running, jujitsu, where I'm just struggling. Wife does the same thing. Put them on 40 minutes a night. Feel like a new pair.
Interesting. I think just keeping anything you can do to keep inflammation at a minimum, and a lot of that's diet. Back to diet. It's amazing how much of this is diet. But like anything I can do to keep inflammation on the low end, it's going to help everything from my voice to the rest of my body. But compression, the compression boots that's a new thing for me for sure. And yesterday I think yesterday I had my long day on like incline, where I'll go, for anywhere from 40 minutes to an hour, at like an 11 incline with like a 3.0 pace, burns like, I don't know, 650 calories or something if I'm on there for an hour. And like, I'm not inflamed. I don't feel inflamed, but definitely fatigue, on my kind of lower end, like maybe knees down, not knees per se, but from the bottom of the knee on down. You just sort of feel like you did something, because you did do something. I mean, you were basically climbing for, an hour.
But when you were a kid, who did you have growing up on your wall? Like, who's on your poster? Do you have a Willie Nelson, or do you have more like an Earl Campbell?
No. How did you freaking know? I had Willie Nelson, and I probably had let me think about that. I had Willie Nelson. I know I had a Kiss poster for sure. Yeah.
Everybody did.
80s era, still with the makeup on, barely. probably like right around that time. And then of course I had some kind of girl poster up on, can't think of who it was, somebody in a bikini. It was a pink bikini, but I can't remember who it was. But yeah, Willie was definitely my go-to. Now he wasn't like certainly he was a runner. He was definitely a runner for quite a long time out there. In fact, he would perform with his running shoes on. I think he had New Balances or something, if I'm not mistaken. But of course, he was also pretty into the funny cigarettes. So, I don't know how that affected his running, but he was a big golfer too, which I'm not. But Willie Nelson was a huge like central figure for me in terms of like my kind of like forming my my songwriting and even my guitar playing. Some of the early, he was an early influence on all of that for sure. And those happened to be the records that my parents had around the house. They still had vinyl records, and cassette tapes or something. So, as a youngster listening to music, just what was around me, it was a lot of Willie Nelson, for sure for us.
You get good sleep as a musician?
I do, for the most part, sleep pretty well. I get in these ruts where I kind of sometimes I'll wake up, I don't know, 4 in the morning, something, and that's hard to turn your brain off. And so like when I have those periods, I might take some sort of gummy or something that just allows me to kind of just chill, to get back into it. I don't continue to take the gummy, but like just to kind of get me back on a roll of your body recognizing night from day. And it's not like a gummy like, whoa dude, let's party. It's just like basically a sleep, just a sleep aid really. Or melatonin is a really good natural sleep aid that your body produces it anyway, produces less of it as we age. So again, it's just like looking to get any kind of like little key nudge that you can to maintain that, quality sleep that's so important to rest, to recovery, and to being able to like, attack the next day.
Do you already have sleep habits, I mean, your whole career, or did that change over time, over age?
Yeah, I think it does as you age. I think you sort of become more cognizant of, whether you're even trying to get a good night's sleep, good night's rest. It's something you take for granted, I guess. Like maybe when you're 20, you just boundless energy no matter what. You can bounce back quicker from everything. And athletes will tell you that too. Like they don't necessarily early on in their careers have to treat their body right to get still, really good results. And then as they age and they become a true professional, then they realize, hey, there's a regimen I need to follow to continue to perform at a high level. And you kind of figure out both through coaching, but also through personal trial and error, like what those things are that allow you to do well at what you do. And that becomes even songwriting at home. Like, I mean, I've made my career both as a recording artist and as a songwriter. We mentioned earlier, me having written hits for other people, from Garth Brooks and George Jones to, you mentioned the Sarah Evans song, Real Fine Place to Start. Like, even, the ideas that you get are fresher when you're fresher, like when you come at it with a good night's sleep and you come at it from a place of health, physical health, and you've been taking care of yourself. I tend to have better ideas musically. I tend to be fresher. I have more energy. I have, the ability to generate more thoughts that actually can come to, can germinate into full songs, that songs that actually can hopefully mean something and be worthy, ideas that are worthy of finishing into complete songs, so that it all goes together, it really does.
Was the songwriting process kind of the same as a regular workout regimen? I mean, you have to lay out a plan weekly, daily, hourly to make it work, or is it just something that you either hit it or you don't hit it?
I think it's sort of different for everybody. It's really interesting, kind of like maybe workouts, but you find that most successful people have some similar traits in that they set their environment. So whatever that whatever it means for them to achieve success, they set that environment. And, you know, whether it's having a workout plan, whether it's coming to the table, songwriting, you know, when you sit down to write a song, you've done your due diligence. You've laid out the environment to be successful. Meaning, in this case, you've logged ideas that you find compelling, at least when they popped into your head. You've actually written them down, or in some way, shape, or form, you've made note of them, whether it's a voice memo to yourself, whether it's a text to yourself, or in your notes on your phone. You've kind of logged ideas, you've stored them away, so that when you sit down to actually write with your instrument, like I grab my guitar and, you know, then I start to go over my ideas and like look through them and see, you know, sort of, do any of them fit together at that point in time? Like, okay, is today leg day, or is today upper body? Is it chest, back and bis, whatever, you know, like you come up with a plan based on what you've brought to the table, and like, oh, well, here's a couple ideas that could be actually in the same song. And you start to sort of figure that out, whether it's a musical idea or whether it's a lyrical idea, or maybe it's a song title idea, or maybe it's just a line in a song. Like, what does that mean? What is that? And then you like kind of continue to delve into it further, like dig deeper with it. Like, is it a happy idea? Is it a sad idea? What kind of music would that lend itself to, that idea? And sort of things start to germinate, particularly if you're writing with someone else, you know, a workout partner, if you will. Then you start to bounce those ideas back and forth, and you know, sort of you take some of their ideas and incorporate it into your collaborative idea, and you hopefully come to the table with some ideas of your own and chip in on that as well. Kind of like when you work out with somebody, you might take some tips that they're bringing to the table, or some portion of the workout that they're like, oh, hey, let's throw this in there. And you sort of like, oh man, that's cool. I've never done that way before. You know, like I've never done a bench press with, you know, adding resistance bands to the Olympic bar. Like that's wow. It's a total game changer. Like it's total next level stuff, you know, and it is, by the way, you know, as you know, I'm sure, like you've done that, I'm sure. And, so, you know, you sort of take tips from one another, and in that collaborative process, you wind up with a song that's really, truly, uniquely both of yours. And that's why working out with a partner, or co-writing with a partner, a co-writer, is really so valuable. Like, to maintain, you know, stay open to like learning new things from the people that you work with.
I mean, do you have one process that works better for you when it comes to songwriting? Is it a line comes to mind first, or an idea, or
Yeah, it's kind of like,
riff
I, I wish there was a set way. Like, I think working out can be way more like regimented, and this is still a creative process. So it's like whatever the spark is that like gets you going, to like get you fired up about that song idea. It could be a musical one. It might be just a guitar riff, like know, maybe that's like a thing. And then, you know, you hear a melody with that and you start singing something. And I don't know, you know, that might be the spark, or it might be it might be something you heard somebody say to someone else, not even to you, just overheard it, like in a grocery store at the checkout line. Like, they say something and you're like, aha, that's a song idea. That's a title, what that person just said. Like, it's a conversation, it's in dialogue, it's common everyday language, but it's not a trite expression that's not overused, so that it's not like when you hear the song, you're like, oh, that's been done a million times, you know, because you don't want that.
Are there any songs that come to mind though that came like that method?
Yeah, there's one I refer to a lot, and it's not like it was a big radio hit, but it was a song that's still a favorite of mine that I recorded. This was a couple albums ago, and I still close my show with it. It's called "Breakin' Stuff," and actually, had gotten done with a workout at the Y with the trainer I mentioned earlier. And you know, at the Y, when you work out at the Y, there's a coffee station, sort of like on your way in and on your way out frequently. And, you know, the coffee's like, it's okay, but, you know, it's not $5 at Starbucks. So it's like, I'll take it. And so I was on my way out, and there was an elderly lady in line, like she was like tinkering with her coffee, and she was having trouble getting the creamer open. And I kind of just waited for her and to do her thing, and she was really having trouble with it. And she sort of turned to me for assistance, and I was like, you want me to open that, help you open that? And she said, oh, why, yes. Would you open that for me? I said, sure. And I, like, peeled the thing back and handed it to her so she could pour creamer in her coffee. And she's like, kind of like broke it open. Right. And she was like, that was so easy for you. And I was like, yeah, I'm good at breaking stuff. And I was like, oh, that's a song. And I happened to have a songwriting appointment right after my workout. And I was like, that's a song idea, breaking stuff, good at breaking stuff. Like, and it became an extension of, we're all good at breaking stuff. Like, we do things wrong in life, whether it's breaking a promise as a kid, breaking your arm, falling out of a tree, doing something stupid, breaking a heart, whether it's your own heart or somebody else's heart because you did something stupid. Like, so that's a song. It's an up-tempo rocker, kind of a Stonesy sort of thing. And I still close my show with it because it's like kind of a universal message for everybody. Like, hey, thank God we get second chances in life because none of us are perfect. And y'all drive home safe tonight, So, it's a great way to end a show, and it's still sort of a cool band signature moment. Like, y'all be good. See you next time, So yeah, that's a case where it was just something somebody said, in like in the gym as I was leaving the gym. So she got a chuckle out of it. The old lady got a chuckle out of it when I told her I was good at breaking stuff. And she poured her creamer into her coffee and went on her way.
You mentioned earlier about working out, about not procrastinating, search for perfection for the best workout, all that. When it comes to writing a song, how do you know when it's done? How do you know when it's put it down, record it, and not come back 2 days later and say, oh, you know what? Maybe I can change that line and make it even better.
Yeah, that's a really valid point. I mean, you can become kind of frozen in your editing, like perfection. I sort of tend to do that a little bit. I think I drive some of my co-writers crazy with it, but just to edit and edit and edit and always try to tweak it and improve it. But a lot of times you do end up with a much better song when you put it down, call it done, call it whatever, but come back to it in a couple of days with a fresh set of eyes, and a fresh perspective, because then you can really take off your writing hat and you can put on, your editor cap and sort of look at it like almost in the third person, be like, I could improve that ever so slightly by just changing a couple of words here, here or there, or melodically or whatever else. But like, so yeah, you kind of know when it's done. I mean, there's no like perfect moment to call it done, but it's really not done until you've recorded, if it's a song you've recorded in the studio, it's really not done until you mixed it, mastered it, called it done. I mean, up until that point, you can always change just about anything. I mean, so editing is a key part of being like becoming, physically fit. I mean, editing yourself is a key part of improvement, whether it's improved self-improvement on the physical level, or whether it's improving a song, like to become self-critical, not to the point of paralysis, because that's never good, but like just try to be objective with what you've created, whether it's your body or whether it's your song. Try to be like, get in the moment, be creative, but then come back to it with some sense of objectivity, and try to take another look at it with a fresh set of eyes and see if it could be better. And go a couple rounds of doing that, and you probably got a pretty good song.
Now, as someone who can do both, write songs, record songs, what's more fulfilling for you? Hearing someone else have success with one of your songs, or you putting an album together like you just did and hearing your final work?
I used to say it didn't matter, but as I've kind of carved out my own sort of path, I've realized that I've always approached songwriting from more the from the artist standpoint. Like, I've never sat down to write a song for somebody else, even when I've had songs recorded by other artists. And there have been more than my fair share of those instances where I've had, hits on the radio that other people have sung. I never sat down to record, like write, okay, I'm going to write a Garth Brooks song. I'm going to write a Sarah Evans song. I'm going to write an Eli Young Band song. I'm going to write a Gary Allen song, whoever it may be. Like, it's always just been, I'm going to write a great song. I want to write a great song today. And I think it's a great idea, could get it done. And so I used to say it didn't matter whether someone else sang it or whether I sing it, but the more I get into it now, it's like I just want to do my thing. And that's why, I just finished my third independent album. And I'm excited about it coming out because I wrote them. I've, found a great producer that I really love to collaborate with and recorded them. And then you work hard on sort of marketing that record and getting out there and touring and playing those songs. And that, to me, is the really rewarding part, because getting out there and like letting your songs live and breathe every night. Of course, you still got to get those workouts in at least a few times during the week so that you feel good feel good while you're on stage. But like letting those songs that you've created live and breathe every night on the road is really that's what makes me feel alive. Like turning on the amplifiers, the smell of the amplifiers, the crowd, the connection with people that come to hear your music, like all of that stuff is really, really, that's like icing on the cake behind all the creative work that goes on, behind the scenes when you're just writing the songs, recording the songs, trying to make them as good as they can be, getting out there with the guys on the road, on the highway. Like that's the ultimate payoff, man. It's just fun to be a band of brothers out there.
Why so long a gap in between albums? Between now, I think it was the last one, 2019?
Yeah, I think it actually came out in 2020, but like the first single or so came out in the December of 2019, so it says 2019. But yeah, just kind of life stuff. I mean, like it takes, first of all, it's hard to crank out a great album every year. It's just like you got to take time to go away and write those songs. If you do write the songs, not every artist does write their own songs. So like, yeah, 4 or 5 years probably sounds like a long time, but and some people don't release a record like, I've seen artists recently coming out with a record that they hadn't had a record out in 12, 15 years or something. It's kind of crazy. But again, stuff happens. Like whether you're out there touring a lot and just didn't have time to go in and record another album, or recently I've been looking after my dad as a caregiver. He just recently passed away from cancer. So oh yeah, that's just hard, but part of life also. And so yeah, he had about a 2-year stint there where it was just a lot of trips to the hospital, a lot of trips back and forth between Nashville and Texas. So that was quite a life experience. I'm sure I'll get some good songs out of that at some point.
With that, I mean, regardless of whether you're writing songs, does your routine change at all? Whether you're writing for yourself, or you're writing for someone else. I mean, did you have the same regimen day in, day out?
Yeah, I mean, writing is not an everyday thing either. I would love for it to be, but I like to like reserve blocks of time to write where, hey man, this month I'm gonna really just focus on writing. I'm not gonna, do I don't have a lot of tour dates on the books or whatever. I have less family stuff going on. It's a good time for me to actually lock in on some song ideas and really devote myself to some quiet time where it's just me around the house, like really working on woodshedding, as I call it, like going out to the woodshed and really just kind of honing in on the. It takes some solitude to write some songs. You really got to spend some time, with you and your instrument and you and a pen and a piece of paper. So like I try to do it in blocks of time like that. A couple weeks here, a couple weeks there.
Well, for you, what's the key to longevity as far as being in the business this long and just staying physically fit?
Yeah. I think consistency, man. I mean, that's probably a boring answer, right? But like, and you would probably answer the question. I would venture to say you'd answer the question the same way in terms of the way you approach your own sort of health goals and you know, staying physically fit and staying on top of your game. You know, it's just really consistency. It's staying at it every day. Not every day is going to be like you at your best, but like just really the grind of it. And you have to really love it. It's about the journey, not the destination, right? And so if it is really at your core, if it's like what you really love to do, you'll stay consistent with it. And that's what I kind of try to tell guys that are coming up, whether they're musicians or whatever they're doing. It's like, man, do what you are really passionate about, because that consistency is key. And if you're passionate about it, you'll be consistent with it, you know? So that's really an important takeaway for me in my own life, is like the realization that, man, if you are just really into what it is you're doing, you're going to be better at it, because you're going to continue to strive to be good at it. You're never going to put it down, you know, like working on your grip strength or whatever else, you know. It's like you're fascinated by it, and you're never gonna, like, you can't walk away from it. You just can't. So it's like failure is not an option, because it is at your core who you are. So yeah, I'd say for me it's consistency. Like, everyone's got different levels of natural ability and talent, but even the professional athlete would tell you, like, it's not always the most gifted athlete that succeeds. It's not always the strongest guy in the room, right, that wins the contest. It's not always the fastest guy that gets the big wide receiver contract in the NFL. It's the guy who loves the grind. You know, he's good enough physically, but then he always is striving to be the best that he can possibly be. And those are the guys that succeed.
What was the best piece of advice that you got? I mean, starting out in music.
Man, early on, probably a publisher who's recently passed away told me, he's like, never hang your hat on one song, you know. And that's kind of like, again, going back to the parallel between music and athletic pursuits in general. It's like, never hang your hat on your best game. You know, there's always things you can do better, or your best workout, or your you know, your max, whatever that was. Like, there's always another level you can go to if you're willing to work at it. And that said, I think I've probably maxed in terms of weightlifting. I'm sure I've maxed whatever. I've already reached whatever those maxes are. I'm probably not going to surpass those. Maybe, who knows? But like, yeah, I would just say never hang your hat on one past achievement. Like, there's always more things to achieve. So like, in terms of my songwriting, don't try to like, oh, this song is great and I'll never write a better one than that. I can't, for instance, I don't want to give it away. I don't want to let somebody else record. That's just operating from never operate from a standpoint of that's fear-based. Like, that's fear, like scarcity. Operating from a position of scarcity is never a strength. Like, you just always know that you can do it again. You can even do it better, you know, if you just keep working at it. So like, write songs, let them out there, let them be wherever they're going to go. And, you know, you can always write another one. So if somebody wants one of your songs, man, it's a compliment. Take it, thank them. Like, please go record it, hit the highway, make it a hit. You know, I'll write a few more down here.
Any of them you were reluctant to just let go of?
No, not really. No, can't say. I can't say. I mean, there were times when I like look back on somebody that had a big hit with one of the songs, but like, man, I sure wish I was the one out there singing that song to all those people. But you know, again, you can still do that too. You know, so all I got to do is go write some more and record them and get out there and do it. So that's you know, one reason why it's always so exciting to drop a new album. You know, I got this new record, Long Way From Home, just coming out, and I'm excited to see where we can go with it.